Today in history is African World Heritage Day. May 5th is recognized as African World Heritage Day, established by UNESCO in 2015. This day celebrates Africa's rich cultural and natural heritage, aiming to raise awareness about the importance. Today is also International Day of the Midwives. May 5th is celebrated globally as the International Day of the Midwife, established in 1992 by the International Confederation of Midwives. This day honors the vital role midwives play in ensuring the health and well-being of mothers and newborns worldwide. Russia and Prussia signed Treaty of St. Petersburg. Russia and Prussia signed the Treaty of St. Petersburg, which marked Russia's formal exit from the 7 Years' War. Today in history, 1936, Italian occupation of Addis Ababa. During the Second Italo-Ethiopian War, Italian forces completed their occupation of Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa, consolidating Benito Mussolini's colonial rule until 1941. On this same day, Liberation Day, Patriots Victory Day in Ethiopia. Exactly 5 years later, on May 5th, Emperor Haile Selassie triumphantly returned to Addis Ababa, marking the end of Italian occupation. Ethiopia celebrates this as Patriots Victory Day. 2007, Kenya Airways Flight 507 crashed in Cameroon. On May 5th, Kenya Airways Flight 507 crashed shortly after takeoff from Douala, Cameroon, killing all 114 on board. It remains the deadliest air disaster in Cameroon's history. Moving to some Did You Know for today. Did you know that apples float in water because they are less dense than water? And this is largely due to the fact that about 25% of their volume is air. The air pockets within the apple structure contribute to its overall buoyancy. Did you know that lobsters taste with their legs? Lobsters taste with their legs and chew with their stomachs. They have chemosensory hairs on their legs and walking feet that help them identify what they are eating. Instead of teeth, they have a grinding structure in their stomach called the gastric mill, which breaks down food. Did you also know that some snails can sleep for up to 3 years during periods of drought? Some snails can indeed sleep for up to 3 years during periods of drought through a process called estivation, where they conserve moisture and energy in a dormant state. And this is where I end today's Today in History. And did you know, live on Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.